Hello everyone, myself Dinesh and my roll number 536 and my topic is about testing versus debugging. Currently, software testing is one of the most sought after professions among IT enthusiasts. Software development is a complicated process involving various phases such as requirement designing, analysis, testing, development, and maintenance of software. To define testing and debugging, these two activities in software development are used to enhance the quality of the software product and make it devoid of any error and faults. For any amateur, both terms are the same, but these are two separate terminologies. The testing and debugging processes are distinguished by the fact that testing discovers the defects of the software but doesn't fix them, as opposed to testing. Debugging is more defined process where the bugs are not only identified but segregated and resolved. The process of finding bugs or errors in a software product is termed testing, which is done manually by a tester or can be automated. Debugging is a process of resolving the bugs found in the testing phase. Developers and programmers are in charge of debugging and it can't be automated. What is testing? Fundamentally, testing is a process to learn whether the system is functioning perfectly or in a regular fashion according to expected requirement. Testing is primarily done to find out the shortcomings in the software. This process is executed by testing team in the testing phase, post which they will assign it to the developer team to debug. A tester can perform testing with the help of the usual manual methods at the same time using automated methods. The defects can be seen at any of the stages in software development, which should be identified as close to the time of insertion as possible, and waiting until the testing of programs is not advisable. Along these lines, if each stage is tested separately and when the phase is accomplished, the flaws can be identified early, henceforth decreasing the total expense. Well planned and on time testing raises the chance of a product or service to meet the client's prerequisites. There are two types of testing, one being positive testing and another being negative testing. Features of testing. The purpose of testing isn't to demonstrate anything explicit, but to lessen the risk of using the product by identifying loss. Testing serves as a major process and metrics for verification and validation. Being cost effective is one of the crucial advantages of software testing. Testing any product or software on time helps you to save your money for the long term. If the errors are determined in earlier stage of software testing and hence reduce the overall cost of a project. Security of product is the most sensitive and vulnerable advantage of software testing. People are always looking for trusted products. It helps in eliminating risks and problems in earlier stage. Product quality is an indispensable requirement of any software product. Testing guarantees a top-notch quality product is delivered to client. Customer satisfaction is a major goal of any product. Testing certifies the best user experience. Software reliability estimation can be achieved with the help of testing, where the testing acts as a method to obtain the rate of failure. What is debugging? The process of debugging is executed by developers to resolve the bug found in the system. In light of the issues reported, the developer starts investigating the main driver of the flaw to make the software flawless. The developers need to look into the code and fix it to make the actual result the same as the anticipated result. With the help of details added in the error, developers understand the steps mentioned and check the loopholes in the precise code area. They can use another tool for debugging. On the on fixing the defect, the developer sends back the defect to tester for retesting. The first thing that has to be taken into consideration while debugging is the user experience. To be precise, if your software performs poorly, your user will end up leaving you. Prioritizing the bug helps you know how much the bug affects your user and determine which bug to fix first. If possible, use a risk assessment matrix to prioritize the bug. Prior to getting started with the process of debugging, it must be guaranteed that the people associated with the debugging should check each of the causes for mistakes. Experimentation ought not to be permitted during the troubleshooting, as it could result in the addition of new errors in it. If an error is revealed in a part of program, it can be considered that the program could not contain more bugs. So the software product has to be thoroughly checked. The revised code in the program has to be correct and accurate. Regression testing is performed for attaining the given purpose. Also, regression testing is a type of software testing during which the previous changes to apps are being retested to make sure that all is functioning correctly. It is a common process and a vital part of the application development process. Debugging steps. In this there are 6 steps in all, and those are: recognize the flaws, design and plan the error part, inspect the defects. Debugging tools are capitalized. Resolve the errors, initiate regression testing. Debugging techniques. To carry out the process of debugging effectively and efficiently, it is advisable to follow some strategies. The most commonly used debugging techniques are debugging with the help of brute force, and those are 5 methods involved, and those are debugging with the help of brute force, induction strategy, deduction strategy, backtracking strategy, debugging by testing. Features of debugging. Debugging supports the developer in maximizing useful information of data structures and allows easy interpretation. During the debugging process, the developer can avoid complex one-use testing code that aids the developer in saving energy and time. Complex testing code is only practical if the difficult parts of the code are reusable. Much of the debugging time is spent figuring out the cause of errors. The earlier an error is detected, the easier it becomes to find the cause. If an incorrect module state is revealed as soon as it is seen, then the loophole can often be figured out with very little effort. It is not detected until the symptoms appear in the client interface. Then it may be difficult to narrow down the list of plausible clauses. Debugging tries to match indication with the cause of the bug or error, hence leading to the error correction. Depending upon the type of code error, there are different types of toolset plugins. It is necessary to gauge which kind of tool is used for debugging. There are 2 kinds of debugging to resolve any common problem of the toolset plugin and render technical information. In PHP, the PHP code can be debugged to attach a debugger client using any one of these tools. Debugging utilities like Xdebug and ZenDebugger are often used to function with PHP Storm. Kint is used as debugging tool for PHP debugging, whereas JavaScript debugging uses the browser debugger tool and JavaScript console. In this figure, we can observe that test engineer testing and developer debugging. In this figure, we can understand that in test the test engineer will observe the bug and report the problem and report the incident to investigate to find the root cause. Then developer will fix the bug and and he he verifies the bug and report the problem and fix the bug and read it will be sent to the testing field, and again the test engineer will retest the bug. Testing and debugging are significant activities during software development and maintenance. Testing aims at finding a problem, while debugging aims at solving the problem. Only after the testing team reports the defect, debugging can take place. With debugging, the developer identifies the problem in the system, application, or code. Once the developer has fixed the bug, tester retests to ensure that the error or bug no longer exists. Conclusion: testing and debugging are an internal part of the software testing lifecycle. Both of them play an important role in detecting bugs and errors in the software. The above mentioned points are the important differences between testing and debugging. The key difference being that debugging is executed by developers and they resolve the issues filed by testers and during the debugging phase. The outcome of debugging is that the issue gets fixed and is available for retesting. Testers do not fix flaws, but they verify the issues resolved by developers. That's it. Thank you, everyone.